Hey guys, Crystal here at Crystal's Crafties. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make digital paper. I'm also going to show you how to get these design elements for free. Like you could get all of these roses and the glitter and everything completely free. And we're going to be using a program called Inkscape to make digital paper. I'm going to walk you through the whole process step by step. If you are not familiar with Inkscape, I will link another video that shows you how to download Inkscape and how to get it set up so that it looks similar to what I have here. When you first start, you will not have this sidebar over here. And your page will probably look like this, a blank white page. We're going to need to make some changes in Inkscape in order to get our digital paper to work the way we want it to work. A really important aspect of digital paper are the seamless edges. Let me show you what I mean. So I've got my main digital paper right here. I'm going to right click on this and click duplicate. And if I move this over, the duplicated item, I now have two. And I line it up right here next to my original item. You see they line up perfectly because I have the seamless edges. And I can do the same thing. I'm going to shrink my screen down a little bit. I'm going to take this one and I'm just going to move it down here to the bottom. Let's see, let's scooch it over and scooch it down. Now I'll blow the screen back up and you can see, oh, it's not perfectly aligned. You can see that again, it is seamless. You can't see where I started one and stopped the other. But if I move this bottom one down a little bit, you'll see where it is. So that is a really, really important aspect of making digital paper. You have to have the seamless edges. So while I show you how to make digital paper, I will also show you how to make these seamless edges. Okay, so let's get started. Where did I get these designs? Well, I got them from Creative Fabrica. So if you click the link in the video, you'll be taken to this page, and this is kind of my little Creative Fabrica offer for you guys. They've let me do this. You can get your first 10 downloads completely for free. And then after you've downloaded your first 10 items or 30 days has passed, your subscription, when you sign up for these 10 items, it's going to sign you up for a subscription. It will renew at $9 a month. And it's normally $29, so this $9 is a really great deal. And you can cancel it whenever you want, so you don't have to worry about ever having to be stuck with something you don't want. You are free to cancel it whenever you want, and you can keep the 10 designs that you downloaded. So you would click Start Downloading, and it would take you into Creative Fabrica, which will look like this. Now, you can get anything from here. I also get a lot of my fonts from here. But for this digital paper, we're going to want clip art. So you'll just type in, let's say you want hearts. So let's say we want pink and black, or let's say we want Valentine hearts. And then we type clip art. And you're going to see all this stuff pop up with all these different kinds of hearts that you could use to make your clip art. If I wanted, let's see, these are pretty. So if I wanted to make some digital paper using these types of hearts, I would get all of these, every one that's in this package, I would get as one of my downloads. It's not a separate download for each one. So that's a lot of little hearts there. But let me show you exactly what I used. I used 3 different sets from this store here. This designer is Digital Curio. I love this designer. Like, I get so many things from this designer. And like I said, this digital paper that I'm working on today, I used 3 of her rose sets. I used this one, which is Blush and Gold Glam. And I used this one, which is white and gold glam roses. And then I also used this black one here. Black and gold glam roses. And I will link to all three of these. She's got so much more. I mean, you'd just be completely blown away. Let me show you her shop. If I just type roses, like you can see she has over 2,000 items. So I've just typed in roses. Now I've got yellow roses. I've got roses with skeletons. I have got roses on birthday cakes or wedding cakes. I have got roses and balloons. Rose digital paper already made up. Just a ton of elements with roses. Like it just goes on and on and on. I absolutely love her shop. But what you'll do is pick something. So I'm just going to click on this and you'll click download and it will download it to your computer wherever you have decided for your downloads to go. You'll get everything in a zip file. So go to Creative Fabrica, use the link. Pick some items that you want to use for your digital paper, and then you can follow along the tutorial in Inkscape. Okay, so here I am back in Inkscape. I am going to go ahead and delete this design that I've already made, and we are going to start from scratch. Okay, so here is our blank Inkscape page. The very first thing I need for you to do is come up here and click this lock. This locks your designs so that when you size them up and down, make them larger or smaller, they don't get a different skew. They don't also get like, well here, I'll just show you. Okay, I have this circle here. When my screen is locked and I drag this, it just gets bigger and smaller. It doesn't change in any other aspect. If I unlock this screen, I can make it like super skinny or super long or anything I want with it. So the first thing I need you to do is lock your screen. The second thing we need to do is set up the document properties. When we are dealing with digital paper, it is always a perfect square. And that is so you can stack it on top and beside each other and have those perfect seamless lines. So we need to turn this workspace into a perfect square. So to do that, I want you to come to File and Document Properties. It's going to pull up another box here. Now, we want to change this format from millimeters to pixels. So did you see? I'll just click right here and we'll change it to px for pixels. And we want to make our page 1000 by 1000 pixels. So highlight the width and just type in 1000. Then come and highlight the height and type in 1000. And we want our display units also to be pixels. Okay, so we've got that in there. We've got this to pixels, and 1000 by 1000. We now have a perfect square. We're going to close this out and you see, yes, we have a perfect square. The other thing we need to do is change the tab feature when we use the arrow. So again, I'm going to just bring in a circle so you can see what I mean. Okay, I've got this selected and I want to move it over. So I'm going to use the arrow keys on my computer and I'm just tapping the right arrow, and do you see how it's just barely moving? If I type the up arrow again, it just barely moves. We need to change that. Let me delete this. We're going to come up in here to our preferences. If you do not see this, if you didn't quite get Inkscape set up the way mine is, you can also come to Edit and scroll down to Preferences. Okay, so all of these little things right here will probably be closed for you. Come into the Behavior tab, open that up, click the little icon to open it up, and go down to Steps. So right now the arrow keys are moving at 5 pixels per time I press an arrow. So if I press the right arrow, it's going to move my design to the right 5 pixels. We need this to be 1,000, the exact same size as our document. So just type in 1,000 for all of these things here. Make sure they're all on pixels, and we're good to go. That's all we need. Now, if I draw a circle and I use my arrow, I've got to click the cursor. When I do something here in Inkscape, you can't get out of it until you come back and click your selector tool. Okay, so now if I use my right arrow, watch how far this is going to go. It moved 1,000 pixels. That's what we need. Our document is 1,000 by 1,000, so we need our arrows to move 1,000 by 1,000, and you're about to see why. Okay, remember we downloaded all of our designs from Creative Fabrica. Now it's time to bring them into our Inkscape document. So come over to File and Import, and go find wherever you saved your designs that you downloaded. I actually have a Digital Curio folder because I love her stuff so much. I'm going to start with some black ones. So I'm just going to pick a couple, and I'm going to make this a quick process. I'm not going to be as detailed as I would be if it was something I was designing to sell. I'm going to get 2 black roses in here, so import, and let me do this one. Okay. I'm going to move these off to the side. Now I'm going to go get some pink roses, import, and I believe she called them blush. Let me go to the files again. Blush. So let me do this one. And let's see here. We'll do one that's like super pink. We'll do this one. I'm going to do one more pink, and then I'll do 2 whites. Okay, so I have 2 white roses, 3 pink roses, and 2 black roses uploaded into my document now. It's time to start designing. We need a base layer to design on. This is the color that you want your background to be. For my particular project, I want it to be white. Now I know it looks like I already have a white background, but I don't. Anything that you create in Inkscape is going to have a transparent background. So if I want a white background, I need to put one in. I'm going to get a square, and I'm just going to draw it out, but I want to make sure it's the exact size that I need it to be. I need it to be 1,000 by 1,000 pixels. So I've got it drawn here. I'm going to come up and I'm going to change its width to 1,000, and I'm going to change its height to 1,000. And again, it's going to be correct because we've told the document to work in pixels. Okay, I'm going to click my selector tool to get out of the square. If I don't, I'm just going to draw more squares anytime I click on the screen. Okay, and I need to turn this white. So while it is selected, I have clicked my selector tool. I can now select this item. I'm going to come down here to the colors and turn it white. Okay. Now we can start working on this white background. Okay, so just bring in whatever you want here. Oh, okay, so my background is on top of my flower. If this happens to you, click your background, and you can use these right here to raise or lower the item you have selected. This one that puts the line all the way at the bottom is going to lower something all the way to the bottom. This one that has the big line all the way at the top will make something come all the way to the top. If you just want to move in little steps, you'll use these two. My background, I want it to be all the way on the bottom, so I'm going to click this. Now nothing at all will be below the background. The background will be the lowest thing I have. Okay, so here's this big black flower. I want that to be smaller, and I kind of want it to hang off of the edge over here in the corner. Okay, So if it hangs off of the edge over here, it's going to have to hang off of the edge up here and over here because I have crossed two lines. If I cross the bottom line, I have to repeat this on the top line. If I cross the left line, I have to repeat it on the right line. It's a simple concept. I'll show you what I mean. It sounds confusing, I know, but just follow along. So I'm going to select my rows. I'm going to right-click my mouse and duplicate it. And now I'm going to use my arrows on my key and on my keyboard, and I'm going to push the up arrow. So now this bottom part is replicated up here. Because I also went over the left edge, I have to do this on the right as well. Select my item, right-click, duplicate, use my right arrow, and now it is over here on the right edge as it needs to be. Okay, let's put this pink one right in the middle. And then let's put this white one. I want to rotate it, so I've got it selected. I'm going to click it again, and I'll get these rotating handles. Just rotate this around. And I want this one to come up here to this corner. So again, I'm coming over the top, and I'm coming over the right. I need to duplicate and move it down to those same spots. So I've got it selected. Right-click, duplicate, down arrow, and that puts it down here. I need this rose to be on top of it though, because this rose is a top layer. So I'm going to select this rose, and I'm going to use my little arrows just to move it up a little bit. Just move it up to what's right there. Okay. Now I'm going to select this again, and we need it to move over to the left side. Right-click, duplicate, left arrow. And again, I want it underneath that rose. I don't want it on top of that rose. So I'm just going to move it down one little step. Okay, we're looking good. We're shaping up. I'm going to fill in some more of the middle, and then I'm going to work on the edges again with the duplicating. Okay, now let's just put some things on the sides here. So this, we will come in and kind of fill in right here. And it is only going over the right edge, so I only need to duplicate it. I'm sorry, it's only going over the left edge, so I only need to duplicate it on the right. Right-click, duplicate, use my arrow key to the right, and I need to put it down underneath everything else that's here. So use these keys to move it down. Perfect. And let's see, let's do this one. We'll put one down here. So I'm going to right-click, duplicate, bring it down to the bottom, right-click, duplicate, use my up arrow because I need to repeat it on the top. It's hanging over my page, so I have to repeat it. Okay. Now I think I want these two to move down. So I'm going to select them both. I need them both to stay exactly where they are so that the repeating pattern works. I want to move them both down. I have selected this one. I'm going to hold Shift and select this one and just kind of drag them down to where I want them. Don't use your arrows because your arrows are going to put you 1,000 pixels up or down. We don't want to do that. Okay, that looks a little bit better. And I do think I want this one to be underneath that one. So I'm going to click my arrow or click my rows and use my arrows to move it down. So you would spend a lot more time on this getting it to look exactly the way you want it. In fact, I'm going to delete this black rose here. Getting it to look exactly the way that you want it, you know, work on that, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to go with what we have right here. Looks like a hot mess, I know. Okay, so do you remember we put that white background here? Well, we need to duplicate that and move it to the top. So just click anywhere on your white or whatever color you put your background. If you made yours a different color, click on your background and you can see that that background got highlighted. You can see that square. Right click and duplicate it. Now that moved it to the top. Here is where we're going to do the magic. Here's where we're going to create the first tile of our digital paper that we can use to build on. Okay, I'm going to shrink my screen out a little bit so you can see everything. I pressed the minus key on my keyboard to shrink it. Don't move anything that you have got designed. Come way out over here, way far away from your design. Click your mouse and drag a square around everything. You see all this that highlighted? Now I want you to come to Object, Clip, Set. You just created a tile. You just created digital paper. But if you don't group it all together, everything's going to move. So again, take your mouse and drag a box around everything and come to Object and Group. And now everything will get all grouped together, so when you move it, you can move everything all in one. Okay, so that's really what you need to do. I'm going to bring this down so you can watch as we do the repeating part to make sure that everything got lined up exactly how it was supposed to. Okay, so here's my original tile. Right click, duplicate, and I'm just going to hit my right arrow. And let's see, did we get everything lined up the way we want it? Not exactly. There's an issue with this flower here. Let me see what that is. Okay, so when I duplicated this flower and I moved it down, I duplicated again and I moved it to the left. I should not have done that. It needs to be duplicated up here. So I'm going to take this one and delete it. Right click, duplicate, and now I'm going to hit my left arrow and it's over here. But again, we want it to be underneath this black flower because it's underneath it here. So while it's still selected, just move it underneath the black flower and now we're good to go. So I'm going to follow the steps again. I'm going to click my white background. And you know what? I'm going to turn this a different color so that you guys can really see what I mean. It was white, but let me make it like, I don't know, let me make it like a purpley kind of gray. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate it. Right click, duplicate. It's on the top. I'm going to drag my mouse around everything so I can get it all selected. Object, clip, clip, set clip. All right. Oh, that's a pretty background. Okay, I'm going to drag my box again. Going to hit group. I hit Control G to group it. You could have also come to Object and Group. Okay, let's move this or duplicate this tile to see if we've got it right. So right click, duplicate, move to the right. That fixed the flower issue. Right click, duplicate, move down. Right click, duplicate, move to the left. I now have perfect repeating patterns. None of these roses are cut off when I've repeated the pattern. I'll blow this up so you can see it larger. This one perfectly moves into that one. This black rose perfectly moves into this one. The pink rose moves into that one. I don't know if you can see this tiny little line that's here. That is just so that you can work on your project. That will not be there when you save your final project if you save more than one tile. All right. Okay, now you know how to make digital paper. Now let me show you how to save it. Once you're all done and you have your original paper looking the way you want it, you need to select it. So make sure that you have your selector tool chosen over here and just click your paper. Then come to File and Export. You're going to get a whole new thing pull up over here. You want to make sure that you are having this highlighted. Don't do Page, don't do Document, do Selection, because you have selected your digital paper. And then you want to click Export Selected Only. And then you can come down here and export it as a PNG. You can export it as a JPG. I don't recommend doing SVG because it's not going to work the way you think it will. PNG is probably your best option. If you click this here, you can decide where to export your item to. So you can put it on your desktop and you can name it. And then just click Save. You're going to get the second one pop up. It's going to ask you the color codes that you want to use for your document. If you don't know what this is, if you're using special printers, you can change this to whatever you want it to be. But if you don't know what this is, just click OK. It will export your document and put it wherever you told it to, and you are all done. You have created digital paper. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.